Hello, everyone. This is Michael here, and I am one of the product managers here at Syncfusion. And I see through the development of the database controls like chat, etc. So here I am today to present you what's new in our Volume 1 2020 release for Xamarin Forms. So the agenda of today is I'm just going to let you know what are the new features that are available in our Xamarin Forms for Volume 1 to 2020 release. And I'm also going to show the demo of 32 new screens in our Xamarin UIKit. So you might have known our Xamarin UIKit. So now we have introduced 32 new screens, and we have now total of 101 screens now. So without wasting much time, let's dive into the features. The first control I like to talk about is the data grid. So in data grid, we have support for Xamarin Forms for WPF. So many of you have asked us support. Uh, we already have a well-performing data grid in our Xamarin Forms for Android, iOS, and UWP, and you have asked for Xamarin Forms for WPF. So now our data grid will also work in Xamarin Forms for WPF. So the much awaited feature is available now. And the next set of feature is the next feature I like to talk about is sorting records in a group. So if you have a group in a data grid, then you can sort the records ascending in an ascending order or a descending order. So this is the new feature. And we also have a feature for moving the current cell based on the row. So if you want to move the current cell to another position on a row or a column, then you can pass on the row as column indexes, and then you can move the current cell. So this is a one cool feature. These are the cool features that we have introduced with DataGrid. And the next control I like to talk about is the chart. In chart, we have provided support for trend line. So trend line is basically used to analyze or indicate the general course or tendency of trends in data, and it is basically built on the assumption of current and past price trends. So we have so many types of trend line. So let me show you a demo on that. So here we go. So this is the trend. This is the trend line. So this is the linear trend line. You have exponential, logarithmic, power, and polynomial. So let me change it to exponential. So this is the exponential trend line. Likewise, you have logarithmic as the chat control. So chat control is still preview, and what we have done is we have in this release we have concentrated on providing customization as much as possible. So now you can customize the appearance of the control, and also we have provided support for light and dark themes. So let me show you a demo on that. So let me choose the chat, and let me change it to dark theme. So this is a dark theme, and I'm also changing the color. So you have all these options now, all these customization options available with the chat control. So the next set of features are from the time picker and date picker components. So the time picker and date picker both has and headers and footer views. So looping is nothing but whenever you have a time picker or a date picker, you can have infinite scroll. For example, in the minutes here, after 59, you can see 00. So this is an infinite scroll. Earlier, this was not available. You can only scroll up to 59, and if you want to choose 0, you have to scroll all the way up to the 0. So now you have this option. And also we have provided support for header and footer views. So now you can see you can customize the header and footer views of the time picker and date picker. So this is an example of a time picker, and there you go. This is a date picker. So you can provide infinite scroll using looping, and you also have header and footer views for date picker. So let me show you a simple demo. Uh, I'm going to show a demo in date picker. So here it is. So by default, we have enabled the looping here. So I'm just turning it off. You can see I can go up to 30, and if I want to choose number one, I have to go all the way up here. So if I'm enabling this, enable looping, then you can see after 30 it is just looping up. So this is one cool feature that we have introduced with the date picker. And you also have the header. You can customize the header as you like, and you can also have the footer as well. So this is one feature that we have. These are the features that we have introduced with date and time picker. The next control I like to talk about is the rich text editor. So in rich text editor, we have provided support for adding images as an embedded resource. So if you want to add an image to the rich text editor while loading, you can provide an image as an embedded resource in your project, and you can add it like this. So you can add an image like this into your rich text editor as an embedded resource. Similarly, we have also provided font support. Uh, Basically, we had some default fonts, but many of you have asked for custom fonts, so we have provided this feature. So if you want custom fonts to be added to your rich text editor, then that is possible now. All you have to do is you have to create your font file and add it as an embedded resource to your project, and then you can add it to your rich text editor. So this is one feature. Next is the auto size support. So auto size support is basically used in any chat system. Like for example, here you can see it automatically the size of the rich text editor automatically changes based on the number of intents we here give here. So this is one cool feature that we have provided with rich text editor. So let's move on to the next set of controls. So the next controls I like to talk about is our circular gauge, linear gauge, image editor, and chip. In circular gauge, now we have provided support for adjusting the center point and radius based on angle. So earlier, you can't change the radius, I mean the center point of the radius. Now you can change it based on the angle. And in linear gauge, we have provided support for customizing the scale labels with label formats. So if you want to show a linear gauge with currency or a temperature, then you can now provide the currency format like for dollars, euros, whatever. Or if you want a temperature format, you can provide this for Celsius or Fahrenheit. So all these things are now possible with linear gauge. Then in the chip control, we have provided support for data template selector. We earlier we don't have data template selector with chip. Now you can use it. Then an image editor, we have file name support for saving the images. So earlier, whenever you edit an image and save it, you don't have an option to save it with the name that you want. It will automatically save based on the name that we create default. So now you have an option to choose your own name, choose your own file name while saving it. So the next set of features are from the controls like maps, schedule, and busy indicator. In maps, now you can auto zoom based on map geo bounds or distance. Basically, whenever you want to zoom, earlier what you have to do is you have to provide zoom level like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Now you can actually zoom based on map geo bounds. This is a very good feature that you can use. So, for example, if you want to point some marker over Florida, then if you want to keep a marker there, so if you provide the geo bounds of that particular area based on the, you can even provide the bounds based on the distance like kilometers or miles. So if you can provide these bounds, then map will automatically zoom onto that particular area, and you can show it. So that is one feature. And next we have alignment support for custom markers. uh, Earlier we can't align the custom markers. You can just position the custom markers on a particular geo bound, or a geolocation, but now you can align it to the left or right based on certain parameters. Likewise, you can also reset the previously selected markers. Earlier, the markers cannot be reset. If you select a particular marker, you can't deselect it. Now you can do that. Now you also have uh, way to calculate the map tile layer bounds. So if you have a map layer, then you can actually calculate the bounds programmatically. So this is one cool feature. So let me show a demo on that. So if you're not familiar, you can go to Google. If you're an Android user, you can go to Play Store and you can download our Syncfusion Control Explorer there, and you can see all the demos which I'm showing now as a Control Explorer available in our uh, Play Store. So there you go. Now you can see this is an OpenStreetMap, which is actually zoomed based on the geo bounds that we have provided. So if this see earlier, what would have happened is it would basically when it will not zoom. Now I can provide the exact bounds of how much kilometers or miles that I need to show. Then that is possible. So the next feature is from the schedule. In the schedule control, now you can have current time indicator. Earlier that was not possible. Now you can actually show the current time indicator with a black mark. You can actually customize the color. By default, it has a black mark, and then you also have support for maintaining scroll position. So, for example, if you want to show the schedule control on a particular scroll position while displaying it, then that is possible now. You can programmatically set the scrolling position now, and you also have support for recurring rule for the last week of the month. So if you have any recurring rule that need to be set for the last week of the month, then that is possible here. Let me show you a demo of the current indicator, current time indicator. So here you go. As you can see, this black mark here. So this is the current time in India here. So that's the time it's showing. So so this is the current time feature that I was talking about. The next is the much awaited Cupertino animation type. So this is one of the type in busy indicator. Uh, we missed this indicator. This is the most common indicator which you can see. We have not introduced this before, but now we have that. So let me show you a demo on this. So this is the Cupertino type. We have all the other types now, but Cupertino was missing. So now we have added it. So this is the classic busy indicator that we see in our day-to-day life. So let's move on to the next thing. So the next feature are from data forms. In data forms now, you can actually span the column or rows programmatically. For example, if you have so many text, I mean, if you have so many labels or text box, then you can actually you can actually arrange this using the rows and columns in data form, and now you can actually programmatically span them as well. And you also have padding support. With this support, you can actually modify the left and right padding in the data form for the text input layout. I mean, for the text box or any other thing, for any other input controls. So the next control is the pop-up. By default, the pop-up shows a shadow effect, and many of you guys have asked us to for a feature to disable the shadow effect. So we have provided that feature today for this release. So now you can disable the shadow effect. The next thing is you can adjust the pop-up position. So earlier, when you set up a position of whenever a pop-up is on the screen, you cannot adjust the position. Now you can able to adjust the position whenever a keyboard comes to you. So if because of that, the pop-up can move up, so that you can see the pop-up and as well as the keyboard. Earlier, what happens is the pop-up will be, you know, uh, the pop-up will be hidden because of the keyboard. So now we have a way to adjust it. So these are the cool features with data form and pop-up. So the next set of features are from our file format libraries. Our We have this Word, PowerPoint, and Excel library, PDF library. So let me show you what are the features there. So you now have unlinked fields. This is basically whenever you have a document, whenever you have a Word document, you can actually unlink that particular field from the current result. So you can see here. Next, you also have Word to PDF enhancements. So you have the following enhancements, like you can adjust the table cell size. You can keep with next functionality of paragraphs inside the content control. You can position the floating items like images, shapes, etc. And you have also some improvements in converting the Word document into 508 compliant accessible PDF. So these are some enhancements that has been done for Word to PDF. So the next is the PDF library. So in the PDF library, you have a substitute for font and form fields. So whenever whenever we have whenever a particular text is shown, there are some rendering, certain fields. So now we have substitute fonts in form fields so that the text will be rendered properly. So next, the next thing is we have extended find extend features in document. So you can find out if an existing document has extend features or not. So these are possible with PDF library now. And in PowerPoint, we have provided support for headers and footer editing. Earlier, excuse me. So earlier, we were not able to edit the header and footer. Now it is possible with the PowerPoint library. So the last but not the least is the Excel library. In Excel library, we have provided some pivot table enhancements. So basically, you can change the pivot table cells with background color, foreground color, borders, fonts, etc. And you can also create, edit, and convert the following pivot table layouts. There are two layouts available here: tabular layout and an outline layout. As you can see here, a tabular layout and an outline layout. So these are from our Xamarin forms. So let's move on to our essential UI kit. So you most of you are aware of our essential UI kit, which is basically the screens that we provide to kickstart your application, so that you need not start from the scratch. So we already had so many screens for like login pages, startup pages, everything. Now we have provided 32 new screens for Xamarin UIKit. So now we have a total of 101 101 screens for Xamarin UIKit. So the new screens that we have provided are login with social icon page. So that earlier we had a login page. Now you can actually with social icons like etc. So we have that page, event list page, and article card page, navigation travel page, event detail, data table, my address, room booking. So let me show you a demo on all these things. So in the forms category, you can see login with social icon. So you need not worry about adding social icons to the page. You already have Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus here. You can also have Pinterest and everything. Pinterest, Instagram, everything you can easily add in a single click. So in catalog session, we have event list page. So there you go. So you have the event list available here. So this is the event list page. You can scroll down. So you can basically add any number of events to the page. Next is the articles card page. So if you want to create a blog article application, then this is the page that need to be used. Then you have navigation travel page. So if you have a good travel application, then you can see how easy it is to add these things, right? So you have the navigation travel page. We have the event detail page. Whenever you click on an event, you might have seen the event list page. So if you click on that event, you can see the event detail like this here. So all these things are pretty built in. You can just have to, it's just a plug and play. You can just easily incorporate it to your application. You can get start. So a data table page, address page, so a room booking page. So any niche, if you pick, you can get all these pages available here. Movies page, file explorer list page. So if you create a file explorer, you can see you have everything ready here. All you have to do is you have to provide the um, data source here. That's all. So file explorer grid page. So transaction pages, saved cards, etc. So social message page. So this is the health profile page. Or if you have any fitness tracker, then you can do that. So we have dashboard for uh, so daily timeline, company history page, wallet page, and in notification we have e-commerce notification page. So there you go. So these are the 32 pages that we have provided. So it is exactly that I have written here. So that's all from my side, guys. Thank you, guys.